What? Oh, I don't even know what that's called. We just watched the first episode, both parts of Re colon zero kara Hajimeru Isekai Seikatsu.
That's a mouthful.
Haha. Yes.
Oh
Um,
God.
this is Alvin.
Is this Parapants?
That was good. Oh man. Synopsis. Guy goes into a fantasy world and
You
stuff
you sound
happens.
you sound a little low energy there.
That's because it's a lot. There was two episodes. Yeah, at first he thinks like, oh, this is gonna be my parallel world adventure, but of course, since he says that, that doesn't happen, and he meets up with this girl, and oh, it's too much to
No, 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 no.
synopsisize.
Okay, this is the deal. You know Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. This is Groundhog's Day, but even from reading like we read the synopsis beforehand, and it just the elements that Alvin read in the synopsis, it didn't really click with me at first as to what was going on. I heard silver haired girl and my attention latched onto that and I just kind of groaned inwardly. But watching it, it was way better than I expected. It
Yeah,
was pretty damn good.
I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah, all right. So, I mean, if you're listening to this, then hopefully you've already watched it. But I feel obligated to kind of say what happened. What? So he tries to help this. He's in
Well,
trouble. This girl
yeah.
helps him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta help this girl." But in the process of helping this girl get her shit back, he ends up getting them both killed, and he keeps going back in time to right before that, and it just happens twice, and it ends on the second time. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's enough for the synopsis. That one's a little too long to. That's not like the other episodes where we could just kind of say what happened. Maybe it's because of the time travel shit, but
Yeah, but so far, first couple of episodes, pretty kick ass. I mean, like the fight scenes are really good. It's not like okay, I gotta say, like the first half, first of all, I don't know why they split it into two halves like this. It kind of ends weirdly in the
maybe,
first
well,
half.
you know what? Because they've got to go back in time over and over again, maybe they're like, okay, we gotta. The first episode has to be, an hour long because we got to do the same thing like twice or three times.
I guess it just seemed kind of weird, but like the first half of it, it comes off as like a very conventional adventure anime. You know, you got their high school student, and at first, Sabaru, that's the name of the title of the protagonist. You know, he gets whisked away. He literally blinks outside a convenience store, and wakes up in an alternate world, alternate fantasy world. And yeah, it's pretty funny how he goes about this town assuming that he's the protagonist of some grand adventure and stuff, and it's pretty self-aware, I guess, in that sense. But he comes off as taking it all in a little too casually. And when he meets Satella, that's the silver-haired girl.
Or
Um,
or is it?
so when he meets Satella, which oddly to me sounds like an artificial sweetener.
No, it sounds like Nutella.
Yeah, it does sound like Nutella or whatever, but he meets the silver-haired girl, and circumstances kind of throw them together. They're both, like strangers in a strange land. In
No, no, she's pretty familiar with the
Well,
place.
okay, yeah, she's familiar with the place, but she's got some mysterious quest to go on, and he joins up with her. And I'm on board with that. I kind of like strangers just kind of meeting up to go on a quest. But their relationship in the beginning is just way too casual. I mean, like I was expecting it to turn into some like kind of like typical romance guy and girl kind of thing. But second half of this show just really upped it.
Well, I think there was a continuous subversion of expectations in the show. It's like, he gets transported, and then you think he's gonna be like, the typical, oh, I've been transported into a magical world show where he's like, what's going on? But instead, he's like, oh, I know what's going on, and I do like how the author is trying something different. should we just? We don't need to do synopsis of things
Well,
or
I
anything.
mean, okay. Well, just a couple of things to go through. Like the detail in, like the detailed backgrounds in the show are just really good.
Well, yeah, well, they're
Well,
good, but
you
they're
were saying
no.
about the like the
No, I just
convenience
said like in the
store.
convenience store, like I do some drawing sometimes, and like it annoys me that there's a these Japanese background artists have a way of taking photographs and turning them into background art, and I just don't know how. I mean, maybe it's just I think it's just because they're talented painters, but
Which is really good, yeah.
maybe or maybe there's just some Photoshop filter that they just keep to themselves, and they're like, not for you,
You
Round
just
Eye.
can't give them any credit. Don't say round up. Jesus Christ.
I say what I want.
Uh, just can't give them any credit for
But
just
no,
being
yeah,
good.
no, the whole show looks nice.
Yeah, no, it's really and I have to say it's animated. Would you say it's animated well? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
because I thought the fight scenes were pretty smooth. I mean, Sabaru kind of he surprised me a couple of times. I thought he was going to be just this total joke wimp character.
No, I like that he knows how to fight. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, he doesn't look like he knows how to fight. He doesn't come off as a badass, but when he gets in it, he's in it to win it. So
Yeah, no, it's not like either usually they're totally wimpy or like they've got superpowers, but he's
yeah.
like got a basic level of. I feel kind of bad because I know this character's not real, but he knows more about fighting than I do, and I'm like, I mean, I could if it was just some overpowered Gary Stu character, then I'd be like, that's just anime bullshit. But it's like he's like, no, I train every day and I do this and this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do that. I'm a wimp. But
No, no, that's a good point that because that's the funny thing about it when he goes to this world and he's like, oh, I'm in a fantasy world. That must mean I have superpowers, and so I'm glad it subverted expectations in that sense. Like, he doesn't have the fireball or like the magic sword or any of that dumb bullshit. Like he throws a punch and it connects and it looks like it hurts and
uh,
and yeah, and that's cool.
yeah.
You know.
All right. I'm gonna go over my notes here. The beginning, I know because we've been watching a lot of shows this season. I've seen a lot of intros that juxtapose kind of they go back and forth between well not back and forth but usually you have very serious tragic elements that give way to just mundane everyday stuff, and it's like I'm just noticing that. And I mean maybe there are only so many ways to start a story, so but I thought that was interesting that I saw that again. A lot of beast races. I can appreciate that for my own personal reasons.
Yeah, there were a lot. It seems
Yeah,
like there were more beast races than humans.
yeah, it's like usually they'll stick a dog per like Endride had like one lion guy, and it's like ho ho the beast race. But in this cartoon, like everybody's an animal. It's like there's a couple furries on the fucking production staff, and they're like, dude, we're putting them all in there.
You said like, no, no, no. This is gonna be a furry town, man.
I
Like
think
fuck that
there's
shit.
only like a few humans in this town. I've big props to the furries on the staff who decided to put a lot of animals in.
No, we don't know if there are any
I
furries.
could feel it. They were speaking right to me. They're like, Alvin, we did this for you, and I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, I got a nitpick, and of course, Satella, the silver-haired beauty heroine of this anime, is a half elf, and
Is this about anime race mixing?
oh yeah, I mean,
Honestly, when she said I'm a half elf, and then she got down on the and like she just squatted when he was like, "Oh, I don't care." I thought she was gonna turn into something weird or hideous because she's like, "Oh, you that doesn't bug you?" He's like, "Nah, man, half elf's pretty cool." And then she just sat there. I'm like, "Oh shit."
what was she expecting him to beat the shit out of her
I
for
don't
being
know.
half
And then
elf?
the fucking puck was so happy that flew out of her hair and punched him in the chin. He's like, "Oh, I just can't contain myself." I'm like, "That's some light novel shit," because I have no idea
I
what the
had
fuck just
no
happened.
idea what's going on. She's like, "Hey, I'm half elf," and then she ducks or something. I don't know.
That whole bridge scene was typical of what I hate about anime that are brought from light novels because it had that's the first time we saw that over familiarity, and it's just things the way they spoke to each other just didn't make sense in the context of how they had interacted previously, and I just felt like somebody was reading dialogue out of the book, and I'm like, oh, but whatever.
Yeah, it
It's
just
still a good
didn't. It
show.
didn't have enough weighty context to for that scene to have any real depth to me. But yeah. But everything else in it was pretty damn good.
I also wrote, why the fuck did he go into that shop alone?
Yeah, yeah.
That didn't make any sense. He's like, okay, we're and like the whole time they're walking through this rough ass ghetto, and it's like,
They're looking for some a thief who stole something from
yeah,
Satella, and they get some clues that the thief is in this really roughneck part of
like
town.
everybody in this part of town looks broke as shit, and they're just walking around. She's got her gems and her fucking little familiar, and she's dressed in her cosplay costume, and it's like it just they didn't. I felt like they should have been more on their guard. And he's like, wait out here, and it's like they're on Martin Luther King Boulevard at 3 in the morning, and he's like, hey, wait out here. I'm gonna go into the pawn shop by myself, even though it's closed.
I'm going to this obvious crack house here. You hang out in the dead of night.
And she's like, all right,
She said like and like what got me about this scene is like she's the one with the magic.
yeah,
You can't really do
he
shit.
can
Why
fight.
would you go in there? I didn't understand the whole I didn't understand the whole point of going inside an unfamiliar shady ass place by yourself.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, he went in there to get it back, but it was kind of obvious that nobody was alive in there. And then he's just like, "Hello," as he expected someone to be like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you. Let's make a deal."
it seems like it reads like the wrong decision you make in a visual novel. Like,
Maybe
do
that's
you go alone or do
maybe
you
that's what
take the
inspired this
girl?
story.
Yeah,
But
but
like bad ends or something.
yeah.
I noticed one line like he was asking about the silver haired girl. I think he asked the apple salesman, and the apple salesman's reply was, how I haven't seen anyone that conspicuous, and I'm like, dude, you have sea green hair, and you sell apples to animal people of all different colors, every color in the fucking rainbow, and you're like, oh my god, a silver haired girl, that's extremely weird. And I think like, I mean, we talked about this in the preview, but like, I mean, the fact that silver hair is just supposed to be so out there and beautiful in your fantasy setting, I don't. I'm like, it just
Now, if she were bald head, that'd be different.
yeah, that would definitely be like yeah, that would be something that would be different because not a lot of bald bitches walking down that street. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you
Oh
wanna?
yeah, another little nitpick for me. And this is something that's really annoys me about a lot of fantasy animes. And now I know a lot of people are gonna take issue with this, but I gotta.
Remember, nobody's listening. Nobody, don't
No,
listen to
yeah,
them.
yeah. Nobody's listening. You're not there, so you're not gonna take issue because you don't exist.
The only people listening to this is us,
It's
way in the future. Like when we're old, we're like, I remember that anime. It was so fun.
yeah, like oh wow, I sound so great.
I
Yeah,
sounded so
I
young.
sound so young. Meanwhile, I sound like I have all sorts of sinusitis, but
Nah.
no, my other nitpick is the costume designs on usually on the main characters like Satella. Like it just seems to me that like anime directors, designers, cartoonists or whatever, like they don't make costumes or designs like clothing designs on characters to look good. It's like they look at a lot of cosplay and they're making designs based on cosplay because Satella's outfit looks like freaking cosplay. It doesn't look otherworldly or ethereal or magical or interesting. It looks like it looks busy and just choppy and ugly.
Well, I mean, it's when you design cartoon characters. I mean, you design around the silhouette. You want an interesting silhouette,
no,
and it doesn't have to look like it works in real life.
no. And you know what? I get that, and I see um I see examples of that, and it still makes the character look good and interesting. And I know, even though it may not be practical to pull it off in real life, at least in the cartoon, it looks good. But I see so many characters designed with these ridiculous. I mean, come on, you've seen that with Gundams, right?
What? No,
Like
yeah, but
just
those are
badly designed Gundams that
yeah.
just
Well, I mean, but
with
that's
elements, totally superfluous elements
but
and
designing a Gundam and
designs.
designing a human characters. I mean, no, I've
No,
seen
no,
human
not
characters
designing
there.
a human character, just the design of the costume, the like what they wear. It just looks
Well,
ugly,
no,
you know.
well, yeah, I think it's when the designer just goes too far away from what would be practical. I mean, I don't want to see practical because that would be boring, but at the same time, I don't want to see wildly impractical because that just bugs me. Like if I don't know, something about like clothing that defies gravity and only does things because the designer wants it to, like it sticks up a certain way. I don't know. Well, it's still a good show. I like the show.
No, it's a good show. It's just like
I'm
I
not
don't
imp-
know. I just don't like those costumes anymore. You know, I just don't like those clothing elements anymore. With like you know, things like garter belts and lacy stockings with
What's wrong with that?
it just I
You
mean
you harped on garter belts before.
yeah, yeah,
What you got
yeah.
against garter belts?
I don't have anything against garter belts when they make sense to the costume. It's
Hmm.
just like why is like half sleeves like these
Okay.
these sleeves that just hang off the
Because you
arm.
don't want to wear a full sleeve. It's hot. I was.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the name of that anime where like there was an adventurer and a goddess, and the adventure.
Yes, there's
I,
oh the oh freak.
I,
I forget the name of it, but we did finish it. He would
yeah,
yeah, he would
he kept going to the
he
tower to
had a
get stronger.
goddess and I think the goddess was Athena. Was Athena?
I don't think it was Athena. I don't
Or
remember what
something. Hera.
was it.
Hestia.
Hestia, yeah.
Hestia. It was Hestia.
But
Um
yeah, he was in that little two man or one man clan. But like I noticed, like she had a very simple dress and that magical cord that always went under her titties, and
yeah, she had
like
big boobs. She looked 9 years old and had big
yeah, with
boobs.
like a double D. I noticed this main character Satella also had kind of a underboob length of cloth, but I mean it was not the same, but I think it was like an echo of that. But I don't know why I brought that up. I think you looked at that character and the other, what's her name, Hestia? No, I
Yeah.
think wasn't Hestia the one that made the weapons? I don't
No,
know.
no, 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 no. That was Hephaestus
No, well I don't know.
in female
This is
form or
lazy
something.
podcasting. I
It
should have
is
looked it
very
up.
like you know what someone if anybody is listening to this they know the name of the anime and they're screaming it right now.
No, if anyone was listening to this, they shut it off at the like 1 minute mark and they're like, I'm done. You guys are full of shit. This is anime is great. I love the light novel. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
going to my anime list. I'm gonna make myself a
But
new
if you made
avatar.
it this far and we're like, oh, what was the name of that? It's like it was such and such, you geriatric fucks.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you didn't look at that dress and think what you're thinking when you. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying about Satella's
I mean
costume,
that Hestia's dress was skimpy
but it
and
was simple and it was.
but it was simple and I could accept that. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's a small nitpick. Favorite part.
Favorite part. You know what? I gotta say my favorite, and this is just Sabaru himself.
No.
Like when he gets in the fight mode, like I think that's pretty badass. I think it's cool because he's not a badass. He's just a good fighter.
But he's
And
also not a bitch.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He's not a little bitch. So I like that.
I already said I like the beast races. I wonder if I'm gonna. Is that gonna be my favorite part?
Until some gigantic pair of boobs come along.
No, no. Look, it's gotta. It can't because the assassin had big boobs, but it's like,
Yeah, you know, it seems like the assassin's boobs got bigger with each
you know
fight.
what? But she also had that uniboob thing where they draw the boobs as one lump and kind of put like a
A line.
suggestion, like a half line in between them. I'm
The
like,
super boob.
don't do that, man. You gotta draw two individual titties. Come on. But
Lazy boob drawing.
yeah. I don't know. For some reason that part where the cat got all big, that was just weird.
Yeah, that was really weird. But
I don't know if I want to say that's my favorite part.
I like you. Oh, that's
I
another
do
thing.
like that cat's voice acting.
I like the voice on the cat. I like that it wasn't like high pitched
I know
and
that
trying to
cat.
be cutesy. It was just a normal voice.
Yeah, I like that. I like. Oh shit! What was that?
It was the haunted
I think.
podcast.
Yeah,
There was nothing. You know, Alvin freaks out over the littlest sounds. So
they're sorry. There was a loud sound outside our window,
it
but
wasn't
they're like, "Shut up in there."
that
All right, let's end this.
loud.
Yeah, this was a good show. We're gonna keep watching it.
We're gonna keep watching it. And I say you should keep watching it too.
Do whatever you want. I don't
Yeah,
care.
do whatever you
All right.
want. Bye.